All right, I want to talk about just some basic introductory stuff and the real thing we've been doing right now, kind of our own little rope system that we've started. This is basic stuff. This isn't getting crazy into the underhand sneaks and all the different things. This is just kind of something that I've been playing with a lot of different grapplers and a lot of actually people from all walks of life and where we've really found this interesting is people with back pain. Older people with back pain to athletes that kind of suffer with sciatica and stuff like that. This has been super helpful. Not only through the stuff I just mentioned, but there is so much neurologically going on with this rope. I mean, from left brain to right brain to traveling, all these different things. There's a host of things that are going on. The number one thing that I've fallen in love with about the rope personally is it is the one tool I believe that every single day in exercise, I can touch it. There are days when I'm banged up and I'm overtrained or I'm just sick and a kettlebell doesn't even feel good in the hand. The wrist, the elbow just might not feel great. The rope never has that. The rope is the ultimate working in tool. I've found it's like, no matter who I've put this into their hands, like when I put a rope into somebody's hands, they have played with it and played with it and played with it. Nobody has not liked it. 100% success rate so far. So what I want to kind of get going at first is just to notice that you can kind of hold it gently into your hand with a single arm grip here. And for the sake of today, everything's going to be underhand. So everything's going to be underhand going forward. And you can just start to kind of roll underhand on the right side of the body through the hand here. Now, if you follow and if you've been, into my classes or listening, I've been talking about the head over foot concept. David Weck is the leader of this, so Weck method is where you can find a lot of this education. But the head over foot concept in balance, my head always changes over to that center line, okay? So even if I go to the left side now, just casually, that head goes over the top of the center line to the left foot, my strong foundation. You'll know I just switched nice and easy, transition to the other side. Now, why this is an easy starting point. You just get going here, you start to work on your head, over foot, and just feel that difference of the weight shift back and forth. The balance, the weight shift, I can just kind of pick my heel up on the other side to kind of feel that weight shift and balance, and I'm just playing. I'm just starting to, as I get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more stable, I can start to articulate a little bit more through my body and start to really roll this rope into a very comfortable feeling here. Now, just kind of tossing back and forth, nothing fancy. I can do a couple, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, nothing, whatever you want. Go back and forth. Now, back to just that single arm, we also have our figure 8. So you don't even have to transfer to do the same thing. So notice, just kind of side to side, head over foot, gives me the ability to then balance. Always owning my position and my steps. Okay, so even this casual going back and forth here is me owning where I am in space and on the ground. Boom, 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 boom. So you'll see I can kind of start to travel with it, head over foot. Now, the more you start to move forward, backwards, split stance positions, you can start to play here. You can start to travel, moving forward, backwards, not forwards, backwards, and then forwards. Notice the head swiveling always over the foot because I'm always preparing myself on whatever foot I'm stepping with, I'm stable with. Okay, so that's the game. Don't get ahead of yourself. If I start to try to get ahead of myself, I can't quite balance and transition from side to side efficiently, building strength, balance, stability, okay? Now, one thing about this same thing that we're doing that I love to have people go forward and backwards. So you'll notice, if I was bounding or running, I'd be boom, boom. There's kind of this opposite arm, opposite leg thing, like we do all of our cross crawl patterns and our locomotion stuff. So I've got this boom, head over foot, body rotating, boom, head over foot, body rotating. So once you start swinging, all you gotta do is time it up with your steps, okay? So if I'm gonna step out, I can, boom, I'm on this foot, boom, boom, boom. If I go backwards, where's my lead stable foot? Here. Boom, 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 boom. Forwards. And I can travel with it. Arms crossing the midline. Timing the strike with my step. I can change levels. Tall, squatting, doesn't matter. It's endless. I have side to side. I've got the two hands, one hand. I didn't show you the two hands, so we'll go over that in a second. But as you're playing here, we started with the one hand. We can always grab it with two hands. And the same thing, you'll notice if I'm on the right side of my body, my left hand's gonna be on the top. Underhand, just roll in the rope. If I'm on the left side of my body, my right hand's now on top. Just roll in the rope. Same thing as the single, except we just have it in both hands now, and we're gonna cross that midline with the other arm. So, as you get going, you can start to play with getting it into a single arm. Maybe stay in figure 8. Notice where the strike is every time with that balanced lead stable foot, because I'm loading into it. Go back to two hands. Good. Now, getting a little bit more into this, once you start to feel it, we can go into the two hand here, and what I love to do with all of my grapplers, and this is just great for anybody, but especially my jiu-jitsu players who grapple into a lot of wrist fighting, is we kind of just do some baseline. Every once in a while we'll pick up the speed, every once in a while we'll go back into a recovery pace. You'll kind of see. But I can just get going here. Get into my wrestling stance, so to say. And I can start to pop grips, fight hands, relax, circle, boom. Just traveling, moving, changing levels. Strong through my feet. And if I want to speed it up for a little conditioning, I can pop, 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 pop. And you can do this 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever you feel like. You'll notice the ramp behind me. Obviously, if you're outside and you have a hill, it's awesome to do different walks up and down elevation. Same sort of thing. So, obviously you don't want anything too tall, but if you find something, slight elevation, whether it's outside, even like in a parking lot or something, you can use that and really get a nice little benefit. So, with the rope, kind of recapping this, I showed you just a little single hand, underhand roll. You've got the figure 8 with it if you want to go side to side, or you can just hand it off. Hand it off back and forth, or you can go two-hand. Remember, there's a whole world here, so you can start exploring. I'm just giving you a basic starting position to start playing, because there's overhand just like there's underhand, okay? We've got our underhand sneaks and all these fancy little things, but what we need to start doing right now is building stable and able locomotive patterns and ability to just kind of play and move and start to roll our rope from the inside out, not the outside in. We really want to get to moving our body and learning how to stack and create good stability and produce force into the ground, okay? So we've got our single hand, underhand to the figure 8, to the underhand side to side. You've got starting with just weight shifts side to side, to then maybe start playing on balancing. Head over foot to the other side, balancing. Head over foot to the other side, balancing, okay? So just kind of playing with where you are in space, and then you can start to travel. Single arm, two hands, doesn't matter. Start getting locomotive, then we start to add a little bit of level change into our traveling, a little bit of speed, a little bit of side-to-side play, and this is when you can start to just have fun and explore movement, okay? One last detail, it's very key in your backward steps. If you're very sloppy, like the majority of us are, we don't think about it, but when we start traveling backwards, we open these feet up big time, okay? And if I'm transitioning from one strong, stable position to the next, this wouldn't be that bad if I was planning on being stable looking this direction. But if I'm trying to stay looking at you, it's gonna be hard to get good stability and stay nice and in balance and symmetry, okay? So very simply, just think, lead almost with that heel. The back foot is almost slightly turned in, or slightly turned in, so you can really load into that. So my steps really set me up to be strong versus have to be turned out in a different direction to even have good balance, okay? Start playing with that.